Once you stop learning, you start dying. Hi Chantini Views welcomes you all for the online class. Class 4 Subject Social Lesson 1. Our topic of our lesson 1 is the zones of the earth. Before we move into the class, let's have a small introduction of zones of the earth. The earth is divided into 5 distinct zones based on their climate conditions known as geographical zones. So these zones are the North Frigate Zone, the North Temperature Zone, the Tropics, the South Frigate Zone, the South Temperature Zone. So this is a small introduction. Let us know it briefly upcoming classes. Hi children, how are you? Hope you are fine with your good health. Do you know my name? You would have studied about me in 3rd standard. Do you remember? Yes, you are correct. My name is Earth. Do you know why did I come here today? Let me tell you why. Today we are going to learn about the zones of the earth. No one can explain better than me. Do you know why? Because I enjoy these zones in me. I have different type of zones. Let me explain you briefly in this class. Are you ready to hear, children? Let's go to the class now. Listen carefully. Introduction. Let's see the introduction of this lesson. The world is sometimes divided into 5 zones according to the latitude. The tropical or torrid zone lies near the equator and extends to the Tropic of Cancer in the north and the Tropic of Capricorn in the south. The North and the South Frigate zones, also known as the Arctic and the Antarctic, lie near the poles. So, this is our introduction of our lesson zones of the earth. Now, we shall see about the earth. So, already we have learned in the 3rd standard, right? Again, I will explain you about our earth. So, our earth is the 3rd planet from the sun, right? Yes. About 29.2% of Earth's surface is land consisting of continents and islands. The remaining 70.8% is covered with water, mostly by oceans, seas, gulfs and other saltwater bodies. So, the Earth's atmosphere consists mostly of nitrogen and oxygen. Then, the Earth orbits around the Sun in about 365.25 days. Earth is the densest planet in the solar system and largest and most massive of the 4 rocky planets. Almost 8 billion humans live on the earth and depend on its biosphere and natural resources for their survival. So this is all about the earth. I have already explained you. Now just we have recalled it, right? So now we shall see about this. So the earth is the planet on which we live. People usually say the earth when they are referring to the planet as a part of the universe. The earth is a land surface on which we live and move about that. The earth is a terrestrial or inner planet consisting of this outer crust, an intermediate mantle and a dense inner core. So now we shall see in the slide. solid earth. On the left side you can able to see the solid earth. We shall see it briefly. In this slide you can see the inner core, right? Inner core 1300 kilometer radius. In outer core it is 1300 to 3500 kilometer. Mantle, that is in orange color, 3500 to 6400 kilometer. Crust, top mantle 5 to 50 kilometers. So you can able to see it clearly in second pic of the earth layer. The outer layer they have said that crust. Clear? Then the orange color is a mantle, yellow color is outer core, and center of red color is denoted as inner core. So total radius of earth 6370 kilometer. It has an atmosphere composed primarily of the nitrogen and the oxygen, and this is the only planet on which the water is in a liquid form, which covers more than 70% of its surface. So I have already explained you just now. So 70% of water is covered by our earth. So again you all know earth is our third planet from the sun. About 29.2% of earth's surface is land consisting of continents and islands. So the remaining 70.8% is covered with the water, mostly by oceans, seas, gulfs and other salt water bodies. Clear? So our earth atmosphere consists of mostly of nitrogen and oxygen. So in the slide second part you can able to see it clearly. Nitrogen as 78% and oxygen 20.9%. Yes, so they have separated argon gases 0.90% and other gases 0.17%. At last carbon dioxide 0.3%. Clear? Yes. Next, the Earth is the third planet, we all know, right? From the Sun, and it's the largest of the terrestrial planet in the solar system. It has both diameter and its mass. So, in this slide, you can see the solar system. In that solar system, our Earth is our third planet. So, let me explain you briefly about this. Many millions of years ago, people thought that the earth was the center of the universe and that it was the flat. There are many theories which describes how the earth came, and none of them came to correct the solution. Later, Copernicus, a great astronomer, provided and proved that the sun is the center and the 9 planets revolve around it, just like the earth. So they are the more planets that go around the sun. Some of these planets might either bigger or small. So this family of planets is called as solar system. Now you can all know the name of the slide, right? The solar system. You can able to see the graphic of the slide in the slide. What this picture is denoted as solar system. Center sun is there. Mercury, Venus, Earth, like this planets is there. So our Earth is one of the planet of our solar system. The 9 planets in the solar system are first near to the sun. It is a Mercury. Next Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune and Pluto. So these planets revolve around the sun in their particular orbits. So Mercury is the smallest planet and Jupiter is the largest planet. So Mercury is also the nearest planet and Pluto is the farthest planet from the sun. As their distance are different, their time to complete one revolution is also different. Our Earth takes 365 1 by 4 days to complete its one revolution around the sun. So this is all about our solar system. Now you can able to know what is the solar system and what are the planets are present, and our Earth is the family of all planet. Clear? Yes. The depth is from the surface to the center. The depth of the earth measures 3,963 miles. So the elements of the earth is based up of iron, oxygen, silicon, magnesium, sulfur, calcium, aluminium and other trace elements. So you can able to see it clearly. Iron in the center, next silicon, oxygen, neon, carbon, helium. The hydrogen is in yellow color. Next we shall move for the formation of the earth. The solar system settled into the current layout for the about 4.5 billion years ago. So our earth is formed when the gravity pulled swirling gas and dust into become the third planet from the sun. The earth has a central core, a rocky mantle and a solid crust. The inner core is a solid sphere made up of iron and nickel metals, about 559 miles. So in the bracket 1221 kilometers in radius. Next, the formation of the earth is started since 6,600 million years ago. The stage or involved the formation of the earth, the formation of the mantle, the formation of the ancient platforms. Next, the earth's surface began to cool, which allowed a crust to form. The gases also started to accumulate and the atmosphere begins to develop 3.8 billion years ago. The oceans of water were present with volcanic islands and scattered across them. It would be another 2 billion years before large land masses and the breathable air appeared and complex organisms were living in the oceans. The first humans did not arrive from the another 1.6 billion years after that. So overall, the formation of the earth is about 4.5 billion years ago. The earth was formed when the gravity pulled the swirling gas and dust in to become the third planet from the sun. So, and also the soils are complex mixtures of minerals, water, air, organic matter, and countless organisms that are the decaying remains of once living things. So, it forms at the surface of the land. So, it is also called a skin of the earth. The soil is capable of supporting the plant life and is vital to live on the earth. So this is all about the formation of the earth. Next, we shall move for composition of the earth. The outer layer of the earth is made of the solid rock, the mostly basalt and the granite. So there are two types of crust, the oceanic crust and the continental crust. They have explained you about the composition of the earth, two types of crust, ocean crust, continental crust in the slide picture on the left side. Next, the oceanic crust is the denser and the thinner and mainly composed of the basalt. The continental crust as the outermost layer of the Earth's lithosphere that makes up the planet's continents and continental shelves and is formed near subduction zones at the plate boundaries between the continental and the oceanic tectonic plates. The continental crust forms nearly all of the Earth's land surface. So you can able to see in the picture. The cement color is upper is a continental crust. The blue color is denoted oceanic crust. The earth has an outer core, the highly various metal, a liquid outer core and the solid inner core. The shape of the earth is oblate spheroid because it is slightly flattened at the force and building at the equator. So overall, the composition of the Earth is explaining the structure of the Earth is divided into four major components. Right, the crust, the mantle, the outer core, and the inner core. So each layer has a unique chemical composition of physical state and impact life on the Earth's surface. So this is all about the composition of the Earth. Next, we shall move for structure of the Earth. So in the slide, they have clearly explained the layers of the Earth, right? So like crust, mantle, outer core, and inner core. So Earth is made up of three different layers. They are the crust, mantle, the core. The crust. We shall see briefly about the crust, the mantle, and the core. First, the crust. So this is the outer layer of the earth and is made up of solid rock, mostly basalt and the granite. They are the two type of crust, oceanic and the continental. Oceanic crust is a denser and thinner and mainly composed of the basalt. So continental crust is less dense, thicker and mainly composed of the granite. So this is all about the crust. Next, we shall move for the mantle. So the mantle lies below the crust and is up to 2,900 km thick. It consists of hot, dense iron and magnesium-rich solid rock. The crust and the upper part of the mantle make up the lithosphere, which is broken into plates, both large and small. To learn more about these plates, see the plate tectonics page. Next, the core. The core is the center of the earth and is made up of two parts, the liquid outer core and the solid inner core. The outer core is made of nickel, iron, and the molten rock. Temperatures here can reach up to 50,000 core. C is denoted as core. Next, we shall see the features of the earth. The earth consists of the land, the air, the water, and the life. So, the land consists of the mountain, valleys, and flat areas. The earth is made up of different gases, mainly the nitrogen and oxygen. The water includes oceans, lakes, rivers, streams, rain, snow, and ice. So you can clearly able to see in the slide what at all they have given about the nitrogen and oxygen. This I have explained you in previously, right, about the nitrogen and oxygen and their classification of argon, carbon dioxide, and all others. The Earth is a rocky terrestrial planet. The Earth is a special planet because it has oceans around it. So the water covers 70% of the Earth's surface. So we already know that. Yes, the Earth is located at the optimism distance from the sun. It is neither too cold or too hot. The Earth is a watery planet with 70% of the Earth's surface covered by the water. At last, the Earth has an atmosphere which receives the heat from the sun by the solar rotation and loses the heat by the Earth rotation. So we have seen about the features of the earth, right? So the earth has an infinity variety of the landforms, mountain, hills, plateaus, and plains. So we have seen that, right? So these are the four types of landforms, and mountain is any natural elevation of the earth's surface. Like this we can say about our earth one by one. In this we can able to understand the features of the earth clearly, right? Yes. Next we shall move for poles. Poles. The geographical pole or the geographic pole is either of the 2 points on the earth where the axis of the earth rotation interest its surface. The North Pole lies in the Arctic Ocean, while the South Pole is under the Antarctica. The North and the South Poles are the two imaginary points where the axis would enter and the X from the Earth. If the axis were a pole or a line, the equator, the imaginary primary reference line drawn around the Earth, halfway between the North and the South Poles. So, you all know about the pole now, right? So the geographical pole is either of two points on Earth where its axis rotation interests its surface. Like North Pole lies in the Arctic Ocean while the South Pole is in the Antarctica. Let we see about the North Pole and South Pole. North Pole. The North Pole is the northernmost point on the Earth. It is the precise point of the intersection of the Earth's axis and the inner surface. Its latitude is 90 degree north and all the lines of the longitude meet there. The North Pole, also known as the geographic North Pole or the terrestrial North Pole, is the point in the northern hemisphere where the Earth's axis of rotation meets its surface. So, overall, the North Pole is located in the Arctic Ocean with the water that are almost permanently. So, the North Pole is at the top of the world. South Pole is at the bottom of the world. So both are very cold and icy places. So the pole have 6 months of daylight and 6 months of night. Now we shall see about the South Pole. The southern point on the surface of the earth and lies on the opposite side of the earth from the North Pole. It is situated on the continent of Antarctica. The southern end of the Earth's axis of rotation located 90 degrees south latitude at the point in Antarctica, the southernmost point on the Earth, that point in Antarctica where Earth's axis of rotation passes through the Earth's surface. So overall, the South Pole, it is a southernmost point on the surface of the Earth, lies on the opposite side of the Earth from the North Pole. This is all about the South Pole and North Pole. Now we shall see the difference between the North Pole and South Pole. In North Pole, it is the northernmost point of the Earth axis. In South Pole, it is the southernmost point of the Earth axis. In North Pole, it is known as the Arctic region that has a floating ice sheet with no landform. In South Pole, it is a fused continent known as the Antarctica. And in North Pole of the Arctic region, located at the center of the Arctic Ocean, and in right side, the South Pole, comprise the Antarctic continent surrounded by the ozone. And in North Pole, it is not as cold as the South Pole. It is colder than the North Pole. So this is a differentiate between the North Pole and South Pole. So now we have seen about the North Pole and South Pole. Next, we shall see about the latitude. The latitude is a measurement of the distance from the north or the south of the equator. It is measured with 180 imaginary lines that from the circles around the earth east-west parallel to the equator. A circle of the latitude is an imaginary ring linking all the points sharing a parallel. The equator is a line of 0 degree latitude. Next, the latitude are an imaginary lines that have been drawn on the globe. One set running from the east to west parallel to the equator are called lines of the latitude. Now you all come to know about the latitude, right? Next, we shall see the importance lines in the latitude. The equator. Central line 0 degree. It is an equator. They have clearly given in the slide. See it carefully. The equator, the Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degree north, the south of Capricorn 23.5 degrees south, the Arctic Ocean Circle 66.5 degree north, the Antarctic Circle 66.5 degree south, the North Pole 90 degree north, the South Pole 90 degrees south. Right? Yes. Now we shall move for longitude. The longitude is the measurement east or west of the prime meridian. Longitude is measured by imaginary lines that run around the earth vertically up and down and meet at the north and south poles. Each meridian measures on arc degree of longitude. This distance around the earth measures 360 degrees. Each meridian measures 1 arc degree of longitude. The distance around the earth measures 360 degrees. So, the longitude line of a 0 degree is known as a prime meridian, and it divides the world into the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. Now we shall see the important lines in the longitude. Prime meridian longitude 0 degree, Greenwich meridian. International date line longitude 180 degree. So important lines in the longitude. There are four most significant imaginary lines running across the surface of the earth or the equator, the Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, and the prime meridian. Before we see the difference between the longitude and latitude, so we shall see the overall about the latitude and longitude. Clear? So they are the some horizontal and vertical lines on the globe, right? So the horizontal lines drawn from the east to west are called latitude. Kindly note, my dear children, the horizontal lines drawn from the east to west are called latitude. The vertical lines drawn from north to south are called longitude. So the longest latitude is called the equator. So the latitude and the longitude are the imaginary lines. So the imaginary lines that join the poles is called the axis. So longitude and the latitude help us to locate the places. The longitude help us to calculate the time. So this is all about latitude and longitude. Now we shall see the difference between the latitude and longitude. So latitude, it runs east to west. In longitude, it runs north to south. So there are 181 lines of the latitude. There are 360 lines of longitude. The longest latitude secret here divided the earth into the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So they are parallel and never meet each other. So in longitude, prime meridian divide the earth into the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. They are not parallel and meet at poles. Next, we shall start with our next topic, weather. Weather. Weather is a day-to-day state of the atmosphere and a short-term variation in minutes to weeks. People generally think of weather as the combination of temperature, humidity, precipitation, cloudiness, visibility, and wind. The state of art on the atmosphere at the particular time and place, the change in the condition of air and water around an area cause change in weather. So we shall see the types of weather. The types of weather include sunny, coldy, rainy, windy, and snowy. Sunny. Sunny means shining with the bright sunlight. There are no clouds in the sky. Cloudy means the entire sky is covered by the clouds. So in the sunny they have given the picture. Sunny means shining with the bright sunlight. There are no clouds in the sky. Cloudy you can able to see in the slide, right? Next, rainy. Large amounts of rain that falls at a particular time of year. So large amount of rain that falls at the particular time of year. So this is all about the rainy. The first peak you can able to see in the slide. Next, windy, marked by a strong wind or by more wind than usual a windy day. Snowy, a snowy place is covered in snow. A snowy day is a day when a lot of snow has fallen. So this all about the weather. Next we shall move for climate. Climate is the description of the long term pattern of weather in a particular area. Some scientists define climate as the average weather for a particular region on the time period. Usually taken over 30 years, it's really an average pattern of weather for a particular region. Next, the climate is a long term pattern of weather in a particular area. The weather can change from hour to hour, day to day, month to month, or even year to year. In the hilly region, the summer or melt and the winter or cloud. The climate is statistical weather information that provide the information about the average weather condition of a particular place over a long period. Most of our India is subtropical country, and that means very hot summer, humid rainy season and mild winters. So now we shall see the types of climate. So there are five types of climate. They are tropical climate, desert or dry climate, temperature climate and polar climate, Mediterranean climate. So before that we shall see about the weather and the climate explanation. Okay, so when talks about the cold day, hot day, cloudy day, so they are talking about the weather of a country, right? So weather refers to how hot and cold and rainy and windy and coldy. So it is a overall a short period of time. So when one talks of humidity, warm, example, it is very cold at Ooty. So it's referred to the climate. Clear? So anything that refers to the weather condition of a country over a long period of time is called the climate of a country. Okay, so as the lives of people, food, and other various, the climate also varies from place to place. The climate varies mainly due to following factors. We can see what are that. As a distance of a place from the equator varies, the climate varies. This made the North India cooler than South India. Second point is the height above the sea level is another factor. The higher above the sea level is a place, the cooler is becomes. For example, Himalayas. Next, the distance from the sea or mountains also affect the climate of a country. The coastal plains are not very hot but are humid because of the sea breeze, while the northern plains are cold due to the cool winds from the Himalayas. So we can previous slide we can see the three main seasons like summer, rainy, wintry and cold, snowy, right? So now we are going to see the topic of climate, desert climate, temperature climate, polar climate, Mediterranean climate with brief explanation. Types of climate. First we shall do the tropical climate. So tropical climate is a type of climate typical in the tropics. It is a damp climate in which all 12 months have been temperature above 18 degrees Celsius. Some tropical areas have rainfall throughout the year, usually in the afternoon. Others have a wet season and the dry season. A place who enjoys a tropical climate or the Amazon rainforest in Brazil, West Africa, Congo Basin, and the rainforest of the Malaysia and Indonesia. So, what is about the tropical climate? So tropical climate is one of the five major climate group in the Köppen climate. So classification tropical climate or characteristics by monthly average temperature of 18 degrees Celsius or higher year around and feature hot temperature. Then the annual temperature range in the tropical climate is very normally very small. So this is all about the tropical climate. Next, desert climate. The desert climate or arid climate, it is a climate which there in a excess of evaporation over a precipitation that typically black rocky or sandy surface in desert climates hold little moisture and evaporate the little rainfall they receive. So, what is all about the desert climate? We can see the types. The place who enjoys the temperature climates are the Kalahari Desert in the southern Africa, the Sahara Desert in North Africa, the Arabian Desert in the Middle East, the Thar Desert in the South Asia. So, right, so desert is extremely hot in summer, right, and very cold in winter. So, days are so hot that it is impossible to move about. So, winter are warm here and nights are extremely cold in this desert. So this variation is because the sand heats up quickly and also cools quickly as there is a little rainfall. In the desert climate, we can see only little rainfall. The water here is very scarce. There are only few streams. They remain dry. The water is available here only when it rains. So this is all about the desert climate. Next, we are moving to temperature climate. Temperature climates are generally defined as environments with a moderate rainfall spread across the year or the portion of the year with the sporadic drought and mild to warm summer and the cool to cold winter. Next, the places who enjoys the temperature climates are the northwestern Europe, the northwestern North America, the southeast Australia and the most of New Zealand. So here is a picture in the slide. So all about the temperature climates. The temperature climates are generally defined as environments with moderate rainfall spread across a year or portion of the year with sporadic drought, mild to warm and summer and cool to cold winter. So this is all about our temperature climate. Next we shall move for polar climate. A polar climate is a place where the climate usually has a temperature below freezing, is icy and covered in snow. So these areas do not get direct heat and sunlight from the sun. So the polar climates are located at the north pole of the Arctic and at the south pole on the continent of Antarctica. The places who enjoy the polar climates are Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Russia and the United States. About the polar climate. So our polar climate regions are characteristics a lack of warmth in summer. Every month in a polar climate has average temperatures of less than 10 degrees Celsius ranges, right? So in 10 degrees Celsius ranges with polar climate cover more than 20% of the earth area. So this is all about our polar climate. Next is Mediterranean climate. The Mediterranean climate are characteristic by hot, dry summer and cool, wet winter and located between about 30 degree and 45 degree latitude north and south of the equator and on the western sides of the continents. Mediterranean climate. The places who enjoy some Mediterranean climates are Spain, Portugal, northern France, Italy, Greece and Turkey. So this is our Mediterranean climate on the map. So Mediterranean climate, major climate type of the Köppen classification, characteristic by the hot and dry summer and cool. The wet winters are located between about 30 degree and 45 degree latitude north and south of the equator and on the western sides of the continent. So this is all about the Mediterranean climate. Next we shall see the difference between the weather and the climate. Weather. The day-to-day informations of class 10 periodic change of a particular area address a specific time is called weather. Coming to the climate of the statistical information of the average weather condition of a specific region for more than 30 years. So in weather, change in the weather condition can be observed very frequently. The change in the climate take longer time to change. Next, Third point is the weather forecasting is observed by the meteorological department. In climate, the climatology is a scientific study of climate which is described as the average of weather condition over the time. And last, weather is affected by the temperature, pressure, humidity and cloudiness, atmosphere condition at any location like humidity, temperature, the sunshine and the X are affected by the climate. So this is all about the differentiate between the weather and the climate. Next, zones of the earth. The earth is divided into the 5 distant zones based on the climate condition or known as a geographical zone. So tropical, temperature, rigid, these all are the zones. Next, the world is sometimes divided into 5 zones according to the latitude. The tropical or the torrid zone lies near the equator and extends in the Tropic of Cancer in the north and Tropic of Capricorn in the south. So, the north and the south vigorous zones, also known as Arctic and the Antarctic, lie near the poles. So, this already we have seen in the introduction, right? Yes. So type of zones, the world is sometimes divided into 5 zones according to the latitude. Already I have explained you in the slide of zones of intro of the zones of earth, right? So what are that? The north vigorous zone, north temperature zone, the torrid zone, the south vigorous zone, the south temperature zone. The tropical zone. A tropical zone is a region between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn on the Earth's surface. So, this region show hot climate. This area includes all the areas of the Earth where the sun reaches a point directly overhead at least once a year. So, the tropical zone is also called a torrid zone between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. It falls vertically in this region. So, the temperature is very high in this region. This is region, there are deserts, the rainfall is very slow. It's also very high in this region, not slow, very high in this region. The South India forms a part of this zone. Next, summer solstice. The summer solstice, the longest day of the summer season, it occurs when the sun is directly over the Tropic of Cancer or more specifically right over the 23.5-degree north latitude. Next, in the north hemisphere, the solstice occurs between the June 20 and June 22. In the southern hemisphere, the summer solstice occurs on December 21 or 22. So this is all about the summer solstice. So you can able to see in the picture, the earth is rotating, the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, they have explained clearly, right? So you all know what is meant by the solstice. What is the meaning of that? The time or day, that means that twice each year, that which the sun reaches its maximum to the minimum declination marked by the longest and shortest days like June 21 to about December 22. This is all about the solstice. Summer solstice 2021 on June 21. You can able to see in this pic clearly everything to know about the longest day of the year. Next we shall see the winter solstice. At the winter solstice, the sun travels the shortest path through the sky and the day therefore has the least daylight and the longest night. When the winter solstice happens in the northern hemisphere, the North Pole is titled above the 23.4 degree away from the sun. The winter solstice occurs annually on December 21 or 22 for the southern hemisphere. The winter solstice occurs on June 20 or 21. So difference between the latitude and longitude, summer solstice and winter solstice. The summer solstice experience the longest day and shortest night of the year. The winter solstice experience the shortest day and longest night of the year. So in every year on June 21 first, summer solstice happens. Every year in the month of the December, winter solstice happens. Day may vary. right? So it happens when the Earth's tilted on axis it at maximum towards the sun. It happens when the north pole of the Earth is tilted far away from the sun. So last, the sun appears at its highest elevation during the noon time and stand tilted directly over the Tropic of Cancer located at the 23.5 degree latitude north. And in the winter solstice, the sun stands still directly over the Tropic of Capricorn in the northern hemisphere and reaches its southerly declination located at 23.5 degrees. So this is all difference between the summer solstice and the winter solstice. Next, the tropical or torrid zone lies near the equator and extends to the Tropic of Cancer in the north and the south. The north and the south big red zones, also known as the Arctic and the Antarctic, lie near the poles. Temperature zone. The part of the Earth's surface between the Arctic Circle and the Tropic of Cancer or between the Antarctic Circle and the Tropic of Capricorn are characteristic by the temperature climate. The regions between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Arctic Circle are called as the temperature zones, right? So the sun rays fall scientifically on these regions. So the temperature is low and pleasant here. The peoples are hale and healthy with a good complexion, right? Yes. North temperature zone. The north temperature zone extends from the Tropic of Cancer approximately 23.5 degree north latitude to the Arctic Circle approximately 66.5 degree north latitude. Then the north temperature zone lies between the Arctic Circle and the Tropic of Capricorn. South temperature zone. So you can able to see all in the picture clearly. In the slide they have explained and given the pic clearly, right? Next we shall move for south temperature zone. The south temperature zone extends from the Tropic of Capricorn approximately 23.5 degree south latitude to the Antarctic Circle at approximately 66.5 degree south latitude. The south temperature zone lies between the Antarctic Circle and the Tropic of Capricorn. So this is all about the north temperature zone and south temperature zone. They have described here Arctic Circle, Tropic of Cancer, Equator, Tropic of Capricorn and Antarctic Circle. Next, polar zone. The polar zone encompasses the area around the north and south poles. Starting from the north pole, this zone stretches to the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere and reaches even further south in North America and Asia. The polar zone is also called as a big red zone. The regions between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole between the Arctic Circle and the South Pole are also called as the polar zones. This zone is extremely cold. The water freezes and most of the area are covered with ice and snow. The kitchen is called as the tundra region. The population is very little and in some places there is no population at all. So North Big Red Zone. Now we shall the North Big Red Zone. North Big Red Zone, the regions to the north of the Arctic Circle centered on the North Pole. The North Big Red Zone between the North Pole at 90 degree north and the Arctic Circle at 66 degree 33 minutes 48.7 north covers 4.12% of Earth's surface. Next, South Big Red Zone. The South Big Red Zone, the region around the South Pole, Antarctica and surrounding water. The South Big Red Zone from the Antarctica Circle at 66 degree 33 minutes 48.7 south and the South Pole at 90 degrees south covers 4.12% of Earth's surface. Next, we shall see the zones and locations. In Big Red Zone, the North Big Red Zone between the Arctic Circle 66.5 north and the North Pole 90 north and South Big Red Zone between the Antarctic Circle 66.5 north and South Pole is 90 south. Temperature zone. The North Temperature Zone, which is between the Tropic of Cancer 23.5 north and the Arctic Circle 66.5 north. Second, the south temperature zone, which is between the Tropic of Capricorn 23.5 south and the Antarctic Circle 66.5 south. Torrid zone, located between the Tropic of Cancer 23.5 north and the Tropic of Capricorn 23.5 north. So, Thyroid zone and Frigate zone, it lies between the Tropic of Cancer in the north and Tropic of Capricorn in the south. And in Frigate zone, it lies between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole in the northern hemisphere and the Antarctic Circle and the South Pole in the southern hemisphere. The sun rays fall directly and provide the maximum heat to the zone. In sun rays are slanting and provide less heat to the zone. So, torrid zone experience a scorching heat in the day time and heavy rain by evening. So, Frigate zone remains snow covered throughout the year. Temperature zone, the areas between the Tropic of Cancer, Capricorn and Arctic or Antarctic Circle called North and the South temperature zone as moderate temperature. The midday sun never shines overhead across any latitude. Next, basis compounds, the tropical zone, temperature zone, polar zone. So this is different shade. In climate, the general pattern of the tropical climate is warm temperature. And coming to temperature zone, the climates are generally defined as environments with moderate rainfall spread across the year. The polar climate regions are characteristic by a lack of a warm summers. Next, a basic compounds in temperature, and in tropical zone the temperature in every month or above 1.8 is 18 degrees Celsius. In temperature zone it occurs the monthly temperature above the 10 degrees Celsius in the warmest months and most about 3 degrees Celsius in the cold month. In polar zone the annual range in the temperature in both polar regions is approximately 30 degrees Celsius and the winter temperature are below the 30 degrees Celsius. Next, basic zones of cloth. Cotton is one of the best fabric for summer on the hot weather. In winter jacket, light to medium coat, short sleeveless shirts, comfortable shoes. In polar travels, wear red bomb trouser and thick pant. Next, food, the sugarcane, soya beans, rice and wheat, potatoes, and temperature zone apple, pear, peach, grape and strawberries, and freeze-dried cheese nutrition is in the polar zone. Next, we are in the conclusion part. So, human-induced climate change has contributed to changing the patterns of extreme weather across the global, from longer to hotter heat waves to heavier rains. So, extreme weather is on the rise, and the indicates are that it will be continue to increase in both predictable and unpredictable waves. So, these were all the zones of the Earth. Children, do you enjoy this class? Do you have any doubts? Hope you have understood about it. Okay, children. Bye. Take care. See you in the next class. Thank you.